What's up, fight fans?
Greetings from the Wrestleverse. I'm your host, Lexy.
And Billy here.
And it's time to take it to the ring. Alrighty, guys, on this episode of Wrestlecap, we will be reviewing AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, so the episode starts off, we have Jon Moxley. He's making his return, and I'm super excited. We haven't seen him since October 21.
Yes.
Super pumped, and he's back, and he's raring to go, and he's got something to tell us all.
Yes, but the crowd's going insane when they see him. They're like, Moxley! They're like screaming, and they're like chanting, welcome back! And then somebody in the crowd who's not so happy to have him back said something real nasty. I couldn't even understand what they were saying because he was like far out in the crowd. But Moxley had a very quick reply of "Go F yourself."
Yeah, he told him, he's like, "Get him out of here, kick this guy out."
Yes.
But then he talks about how he had like this bad dream, and there was this black cloud that was kind of hanging over him, and the kind of demon that follows you around your whole life.
Yeah.
Saying, you don't deserve anything you have. You're not going to make it. It's just kind of really sad, but it really shows what's going on inside of him.
Yeah. So he basically goes to say that this is showing like his inner scars and that we don't need to hide our inner scars and like, don't be afraid of who you are. And he's saying like, he doesn't run from like his problems. He just like beats the crap out of them. And he thanks everyone who supported him. And it was like a very heartfelt, moving speech. I'm like, it went from go F yourself to like this motivational, like.
Really, it's a feel-good story for sure. You know, and he says, if you thought I was thirsty before, these days, like I'm thirstier than ever and I'm drinking blood.
Yeah.
He's ready for it.
So it was really exciting to see him back. And then we had MJF backstage saying that CM Punk, like, you know, he got his way too easy with his victory against Wardlow and that, you know, Wardlow could have had some more seasoning and he could have reversed that.
Yeah, but then he kind of does like this apology. It was a pretty half-ass apology, obviously. He was like, hey, you know, I'm sorry. I was a little harsh on you. And as a BD birthday present, because it was his birthday, I'm going to apologize, you know. But then he says he's going to give him a pay cut until he starts winning more matches. And then we can talk about getting more money. Like, he's such a douche, man.
It's ridiculous. Every time I see him, like the hairs on my body are like, ugh. And then we see Shawn Spears, and he's going to give PJ Punk his first L.
Yeah,
so
that's what he was saying.
That's what he's saying. Else, you know? Yeah.
But, you know, next up, we get to see Adam Cole come out. And it's like, Adam
Cole, baby! And he's got his two fingers up like,
It's awesome. He really knows how to get a crowd pumping. He's coming out with his girlfriend, Britt Baker, and this is kind of like a boyfriend, girlfriend kind of, tag team match.
It was like a couple on couple kind of situation, I felt like. And then following them, we've got Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy. And we get right to the start and Britt tags Adam, not even like seconds after. I'm like, girl, come on.
They're kind of playing this back and forth. And, you know, Cassidy can't fight Britt Baker. And, you know, you don't want to see Adam Cole coming over and slamming Statlander. You don't want to see Orange, you know, punching. Well, I'd like to see Orange punch Britt Baker, I'm going to be honest. But anyway, like this is pretty much like they kind of go back and forth and really kind of get a nice scoop. Saying Chris Statlander, she comes in, gets a nice scoop slam, slams her down.
Yes.
Some great tag team work in this match.
Yes. And then after getting a DDT, Statlander gives Britt a delayed vertical suplex. Like this was epic suplex. She's just like straight up. And that was right after the scoop and dunk. And then we get that vertical suplex. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Crazy. And she's holding it forever.
That takes a lot of strength. Like that was like a 30-second hold. And then we get Orange Cassidy. He pulls a double team move and he's like, all right, look at that. We're ready. And then they both come crushing down and get in the both of them.
Yeah. And it was really, they even had enough time to like hug and, you know, take a picture.
Yeah.
And they were really working well together.
Look at that.
Britt and Adam, they came back, you know, they were like, no, we're the power couple. We're going to knock this out. Yeah. And they just sent both of them like tandem super kicks to the gut. And then they do like this little kiss at the end, you know, like little smoochy. And it's like, it's like, whatever,
that's so cute. Anyways, we get Chris and Britt. They're back in the ring, totally just tossing each other back and forth. And then Chris is at the top of the ring, and then she goes for a dive. But Adam Cole is like hovering himself over Britt, like right as Chris is about to do the dive. And then she goes in for her signature epic 451. And it was just like the three of them stopped. It happened so fast. And then we just cut to Cole being outside of the ring.
Yeah, he's outside of the ring, and he kind of him and Britt, they prepped the table. You know, they're kind of pissed off, and they set it up. And even though the table was there, it was kind of a mistake. Like, so it was there.
Yeah,
you had Britt outside on the apron, and Cassidy goes for like this lariat off the rope, but then accidentally bumps her off, and like she goes crashing into the table, and Adam is just like pissed.
He is pissed. Look at his face. He is look at that face.
It's like he smelled a really bad fart, or like he was just ready to destroy Cassidy. He just goes after him immediately, just going and like, hits the pin. And
that was his motivation to like, all right, I'm pinning him, and he is not going to have the last one. And then he immediately runs. He's like, let me go check on my girl.
Yeah.
He even like pulls the ref off of her, and she's like, hey.
Oh, he was kind of arguing, like fans are trying to fan her off and stuff. It was a crazy moment.
It was so crazy. So then Chris Jericho's there, and he's telling Eddie Kingston he can go F himself, and then he doesn't give a rat's ass, and blah, 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 blah. And they're just going back and forth.
Yeah.
He's like, Eddie might be right in saying that Chris is the reason that they aren't tag team champs. I'm like,
just running his mouth.
Some drama.
And then we go backstage, and we see Adam Cole, and this is right after the match, and he says Cassidy has taken it too far.
Yeah.
He's beaten him in singles matches, mixed matches. What more does he want? And he swears he's going to destroy him. And then he proposes like a Adam Cole, Orange Cassidy, no disqualifications, lights out match.
Yes.
Just, this is it. No more messing around.
Yeah. But like, I see that it was an accident. I 1,000% do not believe that it was intentional.
Yeah.
But like, he's defending his girl. I get it. All right. Let's move on. So we've got Shawn Spears is here, and he's ready to take on CM Punk. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one. And MJF is back. Because, why wouldn't he be back?
Yeah, he only took like 8 power bombs.
Yeah. And he's just like a fly. Like, he's always coming back. It's annoying. And then CM Punk puts Shawn over his shoulders for a signature go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then 9-second match.
Done. Like, super fast, crazy fast. It was great. Spun him around, laid him out, got the pin. He just made him look like light work, man. Yes. He was in and out, had a smile on his face. His intro was longer than the actual match.
It looked like he had like an appointment. Like, it was like, okay, I'm starting at this time, I'm ending here, and I'm out. Like,
I got places to go.
So we've got Billy Gunn, and he's outside with Christian Cage, and out of nowhere, Gun Club comes in and just beats the crap out of Chris, leaving him completely sprawled out. I was like, man. Poor guy.
This is messed up,
man. It was.
I didn't see it coming. But then we get to see Cody Rhodes. He comes out, and he's got something to say for everybody.
Yeah.
He's standing in the middle of the ring with a massive ladder, and he discusses CM Punk, the pipe bomb, and how it started a revolution.
Yeah, and he basically says that Punk made the comeback of the decade and how we're all living in it after pausing for some negative chants.
Yeah.
Cody begins yelling about how he carried the entire revolution, and he was like, you ask me why I won't turn heel, and it's because they cheered him on, and that's when he needed it most. So he has like that power from his fans. He gets that, I don't know what you call that.
Really. Like, and it was kind of the crowd was torn. A lot of them were telling him to shut the F up. Yeah. But he talks about tearing down the fourth wall and how he was the one that fought in ROH, NJP. And, you don't have to have a W on the belt for the belt to have meaning.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with AEW because they are tearing down the walls.
Yeah, it's true.
It's excellent. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then he says that the Undisputed Era is just a developmental genius from WWE. And then he brings up the fact that Walter had a name change to Gunther, and he calls him Gunther McGilligan.
Yeah, no, it had me cracking up. And it's like, that's a way better.
It was so funny. You have to see that part.
But then he ends up climbing up onto the ladder, and he challenges Sammy Guevara to a unification match with the 2 belts at AEW Beach Break. I'm excited for that. That's going to be a great match.
And that's coming up soon. So then we've got Jade Cargill, who's issued an open challenge for the TBS title, and Anna Jay is just ready to take it. She's like, bring it on, girl. Dre talks about the hardcore match from weeks ago, and then she is ready.
Yeah, she's like, I've wrapped a hard wire around my arm to win. I'm ready for this. So we go right into the next match. You got the Kings of Black, the Black Throne versus the Varsity Blondes.
They had such an epic entrance. I had to put that picture.
Cool.
It was epic.
It really is. It's kind of dark, but really neat. It gets me pumped up.
It makes the Varsity Blondes look like their entrance was just sad. So Brody shoves Garrison around, and they start tugging back and forth. He sends him out the ring, and Pillman just drops outside to talk to Garrison, and he's just like, You know, it was
step back, and then they end up back into the ring, and Black sweeps Pillman's leg.
Yes.
So Garrison can hit like this great backsplash. Garrison is taken out again, and the Dante Inferno comes up, finishes off Pillman, taking the win.
Yes.
Great finisher. Love that match. Finisher. It was a lot of fun. The guy just destroyed him. He is massive.
He is.
He's such a big guy, man. He just dominates that ring.
He does dominate.
They're going to tear it up in the tag team. Man.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited to see that. And then post-match, Black tells the House of Black to rise up, but Pac is still like blind and pops up on the screen, and he is like beyond Black's reach. Like,
he looks pissed. He's ready for
really
revenge. Man. Yeah. So next up the fight card, we have Lance Archer versus Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, so Jake Roberts and Dan Lambert are in like the Archer's corner, and Archer hammers him down before the bell even starts, and then stands on Kazarian's neck and is just like on it with his foot. And it was like, you see his mega entrance right there. And then he's got, like, you have to see that. I think we've got the picture coming up where he's got his, look at him on his neck.
Just smashing. And the beating continues. You know, Archer's just slowly pounding away at Kazarian. He can't even get anything going.
No.
I mean, he's just done. And then we come back, and Archer loudly says, "Fuck you," seemingly to a fan. You know? It's like, and sending Kazarian and just right into the buckle face first. And man, he ate it hard.
And then Archer with the choke slams Kazarian down. And I mean, at this point, I'm like, this is going on for quite some time now. I'm like looking at the time, and like Archer finally finishes with the blackout. And Archer looked like a guy lumbering around a very, very slow little, like, you know, it was like this beat down that kind of went down slowly and brutally. I was like,
I don't know if they were told to fill in time or what, but they really did. Just like this 3-minute match stretched on forever.
Yeah, it took way longer than it needed to be, and it
really did.
It didn't make sense to me, like the Archer versus Page, but you know, the audience seemed to be pretty, you know, amused by it. But we get post match, right after Dan Lambert goes after another cowboy rant against Hangman Page. But Archer just cuts him off because he's just sick of his crap. And Archer loads up a chokeslam off the ramp, but he is here to save Hangman Page.
Yeah, but you know, Cage gets kneed down, so he pulls off his cowboy boot and blasts Archer right in the head. The buckshot lariat is just blocked.
Yes.
Page forearm, you know, he comes out on the floor. Page just stands up tall. He's like, I got this. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. He's a strong dude. It seems like. And then backstage we get Dante Martin, and he is ready for Team Taz with Lee Moriarty and Matt Sydal, and they're having his back until his brother gets in. And he's like, how many brothers do you even have?
Right? The Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, they're going to prove that Martin is all alone, because he needs to have somebody watching his back on all sides all the time.
Yes, and then so we get like Red Velvet and Chris Statlander backstage, but like Layla Hirsch breaks up the interview between them, and
like a bone to pick.
Like complaining about their loss on Friday. Velvet says it was a miscommunication and gets her arm bared as a result. So.
She was pissed, and she's a stout girl. She can whoop some butt for sure.
She sure can.
So for the next fight card, we have Deeb versus Sky Blue. This is a cool match.
It was a cool match. It was a quick match. So Deeb takes her down to the start and sends Blue to the apron and just keeps on beating her up over and over and over again. Doesn't even give the girl a chance to breathe. And then she comes back in with some uppercuts to the back of the head, and she finishes it up with the Fisherman's Neckbreaker.
Yeah, and she sets in that real nice Serenity Lock and kind of slamming her leg up and down, and then sets in all the way into a full pin, and that was it. That was done. Quick match, and she made quick work of that.
She could go for more. I could feel like she was like, wait, that's over?
Yeah.
It's over? So we get Ethan Page, and he wants a big match on Rampage. And he's telling Tony Khan to put the franchise player in, and Ethan said that he wants to fight Moxley and how he's not scared.
Oh, he's not scared at all. He's like, I'm ready for him.
Yeah, I'm like, so got a brave man here. Then we got some like exclusive footage that we weren't able to put in, but we got like exclusive footage of the New Japan matches with like Vince and the Young Bucks,
which was super cool. This was the first time I've seen anything like this on AEW, where they were actually taking another franchise and blending it in and showing a montage of the Young Bucks and like from way back when. It was really neat. I was super excited to see that. Like I said, big things coming in AEW.
Yeah, it's true. And then we had Matt Hardy, and he signed Andrade El Idolo, 51% of the Hardy family office, but he is still in charge of board of directors. So yeah, it
was a weird deal. I didn't see what the whole point of all this is, but
yeah, I guess they're going to be
moves.
Combining their acts or something.
I think so. Yeah, it's maybe bringing more recruiting. I think is what they're trying to go with, but it seems like a pretty equal division of power and all that. But we'll see what ends up happening.
We'll see.
Yeah, then we go right into the next fight card. You have the Acclaim versus Darby Allin and Sting. Oof. And this was pretty cool. The Acclaim actually came out with a pretty good rap this time. I was a little impressed. They had some bars tonight.
Because their last rap, I was like, oh my God, skip. Yeah. So Caster's rap promises to make this worse than the Starrcade 97. So that's how you know this is some serious stuff.
Yeah. But the Acclaim, they jump them like before the bell even starts. And before Tony even can explain what, the Starrcade 97 was. And then poor Darby got a chair wrapped around his neck and then got flung into the post head first.
Yeah.
The poor guy, he looked like he really ate it hard. I felt for him. It looked like it hurt.
Yeah. Sting is like, there should be some medics checking up on Allin, but, he's willing to fight on his own. He's like, no, got this. Yeah, Sting takes down the Acclaim and he starts like with his stinger splash.
Yeah.
And he hits an exposed buckle, giving Bowens a 2. And then we're like, oh.
Yeah.
Nope. We got a break. And then we come back to Sting and he's putting Caster in the death lock.
Yeah. And then Bowden hits like a big forearm, but Sting just yells at him. He's like, get out of here with that nonsense.
Yes. And we got a super kick that breaks it up, but Allin comes back in to make a save.
Yeah, it's like he appears out of nowhere, comes diving out of the crowd.
Yeah.
I was like, where did he come? I thought he was out. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, he gets like taken, and then Allin gets taken down by the mic. He gets taken down again by the mic drop, and then he gives Caster a 2 count. So I'm like,
so it was great. They kind of started going back and forth, and Sting was whooping ass in this one. Man. It's like, and Sting, he does like the backdrop and then splashes Caster. Everyone starts going. He was like on the rail, goes diving off of him. Huge. And this is an older guy and a huge move. Takes Caster out. The crowd's like, you still got it. You still got it. It's like, I don't know if that really applies, because he's always had it.
He's always had it. And then we get the coffin drop finish from Bowens at, and that was just crazy. I was like, boop. So, Sting's matches are a lot of like, I've realized like smoke and mirrors, but they're like a lot of fun and like crazy to watch. His facial expressions during most of them. I'm like,
Darby is definitely an up and comer. And after this one, you can't say that they're not in line for #1 contender. They have to be. They're undefeated at this point.
Yeah. And, so shouldn't their like title shot be coming soon?
I'm ready for it. Yeah. I mean, Sting is killing it. I'm excited.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun watching this last night. I have to be honest.
Yeah,
this is now my second week watching AEW. So it's a really cool like dynamic. I also think like the way that the backstage life kind of ties into the show.
More meaningful. It's not drama. It actually sets up the fight cards that are coming up. It makes sense. It's not this tick for tat kind of thing. That's why I'm drawn towards it. And it's the last couple of weeks have been really excited. Friday's going to be a great episode. John Moxley's coming back. Pumped for that. So, I mean, what would you give this episode? I mean, here at Fight, we like to give every fight card a fight card rating. So we have 5 for Fight Forever.
4 is This Is Awesome.
And you got 3, You Still Got It.
2 is What? And 1 is
Boring.
Terrible. Watch Us. We're way better.
What would you give this one?
I think like a 4 or 5. It was very interesting.
I agree. I don't give out 5s. 5s are tough to earn, but AEW, you're earning my fan base, man. You get a 5 on this episode. I loved it. There was a lot of great stuff.
There was
a lot of stuff leading up to the beach break, and great episode.
And it like preps everything for Friday, I feel like, almost in a way. And like I like that they incorporated those like behind the scenes. And I feel like when it comes to NXT, which is what I'm used to watching, like the backstage is all like catty drama and like the fighting. And I'm like, I like when it sets up and I get a little bit of like a backstory.
And so great wrestlers.
It was awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Stay tuned for me and Billy's recap, which will be on Saturday. So don't miss that.
Make sure you check out our merch too.
Yes, make sure you check out our merch. And for some more WrestleCap videos, click the link down below. Until next time, I'm Lexi.
Billy here.
Bye.
Don't stop believing.